Welcome to Car Photography Week. So, this is a week where a lot of people really have fun, um, and it's a really easy week. So, with Car Photography Week, what I want you to keep in mind is if you're a beginner, keep it simple. The challenge this week will be to make sure that you get close enough to where you don't see your reflection in the car and that you don't have any overexposed areas. So if I look at this car photo, a lot of your car photos are going to be clear foreground, blurry background. If the background wasn't blurry in this photo, we would be distracted by the people and what was going on in the background. This is a really good example of a photo that has a license plate that actually adds to the photo. Be careful of license plates because they can really take away from your photo. For most of you, you're going to be shooting pictures kind of on the front corner of the car. You want to find cars that visually look interesting and that are going to be strong compositionally. In this photo here, you have a really interesting photo. However, this person forgot to blur the background of their image. If you forget to do that, you could easily crop the right part of your photo, or you could edit this to where the background was blurry. You can do the insides or the outsides of cars. You could go to car shows and photograph them. Here is a good example of an HDR photo. Here's an interesting example of something that isn't necessarily pretty. Your pictures can be of rusty or old cars. What makes this picture interesting is that it's shot from a low angle, so you might have to lay down or squat or sit at the ground and angle your camera upwards to get this kind of photo. With any type of shiny car, you're going to be dealing with reflection. Make sure that you are trying to shoot on either cloudy days or in the shade. That's going to be your optimal lighting. If you're shooting on sunny days, you'll have to beware of light spots and reflections and photo glares. So make sure that in your photos, we can't see you. You can pick any kind of color car that you want. Usually, if it's an unconventional color like baby blue or pink or a color that doesn't normally happen, you're going to have more interesting photos. Think about different angles and different ways to photograph a car. If you own a car that looks visually interesting, think about the background that you could put behind it. Here are all really good examples of what a photo one person could easily do. I don't want to see a billion pictures of tires and things like that. I don't want to see just flat logos of car brands. I want to see depth. And the way to create depth is creating a clear foreground, blurry background, and angling your camera in just the right way. Using rule of thirds is equally as important. So you want to lead the viewer somewhere in your photograph. So if we look at this photo, we're being led to the little lights in the top left-hand corner. Here's some really interesting examples of photos that have colored cars and that are shot really up close. Again, we don't see reflections in the backgrounds. We don't see glares or anything like that. You could try to do more of like an abstract style car photo if that's something that you really like to do. Here's an example of a rusty old car. I will point this one out though because it is pixelated. As a reminder, make sure that you are sending the highest quality resolution photos when you email your images to yourself. Here's another example. Now this one has a person in the background. It is slightly blurred out. It actually works really well to kind of tell the story of this photo. If the people in your background take away from your photo, you could simply crop him out or blur him. Here's another example of an inside of a car. This one here is kind of an unconventional abstract photo of an old, it looks to me like a school bus. And when I say car week, it could be any piece or part of the car to photograph. So these are old radios. You can also go to the junkyard and take photos as well. I would highly recommend that you bring somebody if you do go to the junkyard, because usually they have an age limit. And then the more advanced people should work towards telling a story using car photography. So if we look at this image, it has kind of a creepy, ominous feel, and that's because the lighting and the way that this photo is composed. If you own or know somebody who works in like a car repair shop, this would also be a great opportunity this week to take some really interesting car photos. Keep in mind, try out different angles. It doesn't always have to be from the same low-level angle. It can be a top view, like these. These ones tell a story. Same thing here. So that is Car Photography Week. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.